Hey guys, Mark Rosetto here and welcome to the Walk the Talk webinar series called the Education Exchange. I have got one of my favorite suppliers, Andrew Funderburg from Fundy.
That's just because we give you free t-shirts.
Yeah, free t-shirt. I love my t-shirt. I was looking forward to going to WPPI this year to pick up my hoodie, but unfortunately, coronavirus bent me to that one too. Anyway.
We'll get you some hoodies.
But Fundy software is what I like to describe the version of software. It's clean, it's slick, it's modern, it's up to date, it's practical, and I really think that they are the forefront kind of runners in terms of the IPS development, not just for their albums and for their wall products and linking it to the labs and everything else, but the design elements too, the retouching, the making of marketing materials and thinking outside the box. And it's such a cool software to have. And Andrew's been on this call. We've actually done 2 of these in the past. One was just an overview and the other one was about IPS and actually going through the walkthrough. So if you need that, just contact me. I can send the link to that. But today I've asked Andrew to talk about what are the really cool things about Fundy that stands out from the crowd, because everybody knows it makes amazing albums in like 30 seconds, which is just the coolest thing ever. And it does the groupings and you can export it as well. But there's so many other little things in it that makes this software stand out from the crowd. And I'm going to flick over to Andrew to tell us all about it. So mate, there's your intro. Go for it.
Awesome. That was a great intro. I should have recorded that and just used that forever in my entire life until I die. The best. All right. So just a quick 20 minutes. I just kind of want to show you some cool stuff. And I really want to concentrate a lot on some of the marketing materials because I'm sure it's been the same there, but you know, photographers have been kind of locked down here in the US, and you know, it's going to take a lot of momentum to get the marketing back up and running. So we'll take a look at that. The album design, you know, we have our auto design function, which if you haven't used before is super fun. I'll show you real quick how, let's just design a 120-page album real fast, just so you can kind of see what it can do out of the box if you're feeling lazy. So that's the I'm feeling lazy album design, right? We just hit the auto design. Pretty good. This is a new feature, which is cool if you haven't used in a while. This is our patented drop zone. So this is really useful if you want to just be able to just kind of, you know, kind of cheat.
And this is one of those things that just a random marketing thing. Like while we're in the lockdown, if any of your clients have not purchased an album in the past, I would be literally designing an album for every single client and send them the proof and say, would you like to buy this for Mother's Day? Here's an album I designed for you. Would you like to buy it for Mother's Day? And you can make an album within 5 minutes. How would you export a proof for that actual album?
So we have an online proofer, so you can export a proof. You can proof online. You can export as a PDF and send it to them. So a few different options. You could export it as a slideshow if you want, such music. Throw it up on Facebook and tag her in it, and then she'll feel compelled to buy it.
Awesome.
Wall art is pretty straightforward. You know, we've gone over this. I do want to show a couple things, like we have a bunch of downloadable rooms that you can download. This is actually, I believe these are one of our ambassador designed this for their clients. So I believe they actually purchased some of this wall art. But one thing that's super easy to do, and we'll use this in the marketing, but you can always export wall previews. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll export just the bottom one. And a wall preview is just basically, you know, that mock-up of the wall. So that's great for marketing because we can throw it into our magazine stuff, but we can just post to Facebook and Instagram. And, you know, instead of posting just photos, we can post the wall previews.
Yep. Cool. Do you know when we did this, we actually did a walk the talk about creating the room views.
Yeah.
And we argued for about 5 minutes how to export that damn room. It's like, which one is it? I know you can do it. So you've just done it in less than
The
2
wall.
seconds.
Well, we might have renamed that since the last edit. We just want to make it super, super clear.
Yeah.
So export wall preview, right? And it's just a JPEG. You can upload it wherever you want. You can throw it on your website. Like if you don't have wall previews on your website, right? That's number one.
Don't even get me started.
Right? So get that. So super easy to get that on there. Just, getting those wall previews and then knowing the fact that you're going to be booking clients that that's what they saw and that's what they want. Like that's makes all your money back on the software just right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we'll go a little bit, I'm kind of focusing on the client side of things, right? And then we have cards, right? So you can design your thank you cards, save the date cards, holiday cards, etc. And then this is kind of, I think one of the things that you want to focus on is the value within the suite. So we have an entire design library with a bunch of pre-made album designs, over 20, I think almost 30 different magazine designs, everything from commercial photography to engagement, wedding, family, boudoir. And these are studio magazines. All the text has been pre-written for you.
So let's go with, let's just break that down a little bit just to slow down, because I nearly missed that as well. So traditionally, as photographers, we would actually go to Creative Market or Etsy or somewhere, download a template, put it into Photoshop, then in Photoshop, put text, put images and load it up. But here, you've actually got a whole suite of magazines ready to go. So that all you need to do is select one and make it your own.
Exactly. So let's go ahead and
it's just a family one.
Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm going to go to Studio Magazines. And then, so families, we have a number of different versions. So we have 4 different versions. So take your pick. What do you want?
Number 3.
Okay.
What's behind the door, number 3, Andrew?
Yep. So I've installed that into my Fundy Designer, so now I can use it. So we can install as many as we want. And then, since we're looking at these, right, we discussed cards, and obviously we have the thank you cards and save the date cards and holiday cards, but we also have these marketing cards. And so if we go to our marketing cards and we go down to families, because we're designing our studio magazine, we have marketing cards also. So for example, let's do the family cards.
Do they kind of match? Have you kind of matched version 3 with version 3 and stuff?
Exactly. So let's download this wall art one, and then let's download this gift certificate one.
Oh, this has changed since I've seen it last. This is even better.
Let me see if I have, I don't think I have any family ones, but I'll pull up. I have a high school senior one, which I know isn't a market there, but a portrait's a portrait, right? So let's go ahead and we'll design a new studio magazine.
Yep.
And we'll just choose like generic sizes here. And you can do any custom sizes you want. I know that sizes might be a little different there with A4 and stuff. And we'll do that family magazine.
Family 3, yeah. Okay, so while we're going into this too, and I'm sure you're going to mention it anyway, the issue with some templates is that everybody's template looks the same. So what would you suggest to us if we want to add our design elements in there to make it more look like our branding? How would you
So what's really, so for example, one thing we could do is change the color of the text, right? So it's, you can put in any hex color, any color on the planet that you wanted to do with the text. Ooh, I'm just automatically choosing a lot of bad colors here, but just forgive me. I'm not a designer. I'm sure you have your own colors.
Yeah.
And then down here, you can also, any template that you download from the design library, all of those pieces drop into your PNG gallery, or you can bring in your own PNGs.
What does that mean, mate? What does that mean?
So for example, I just downloaded that family magazine with all of the florals. So, and
Ah,
additionally, all of those floral pieces dropped in, so I can mix and match.
right. Can you add
Right?
your own
Yeah,
fonts as well?
yeah. So you don't even have to add them. Any fonts that are on your computer automatically load.
No, that's just
Yeah,
gold,
done.
isn't it,
Right.
Sarah Smith?
And then you can drop in your logos. You can drop in any other PNG elements that you have, and drop into here and use and basically do whatever you want. And then as you change your fonts, and also, when you go to Creative Market and like you buy a template, but then you have to go track down the fonts,
Yeah,
and install them. So we include all of the fonts and the template all in one.
that is just awesome.
So you don't have to go look for anything.
I think this has actually changed a fair bit since I played with it last.
So you can play around, and we just like in Photoshop, you can play with the letter spacing and the line spacing, and really kind of do whatever you want.
You can really make it your own, pretty much.
Yeah, you can totally make it your own.
So if I want to add a spread, I just press add a spread or copy the layout.
Add a spread, yeah, or we can go into this view here. So let's add a spread after this, and then we'll go to our layouts and our magazine layouts, and we can mix and match different layouts from different magazines.
Yeah.
So I can say, oh, magazine 3 is what we started with, but I really like this one from magazine 2.
Cool. That's rad.
And just kind of mix and match and stuff. And this pages 4 and 5 are a beautiful example of why we hired a professional graphic designer instead of having me design them.
So is there a way that you can, I think there is with the favorites, that you can highlight like your magazine, your gift voucher, your card, your brochure, your booklet, so it's all the same? So you've got your whole same style in the same spots, or is it really just you open?
So for marketing stuff, I really recommend just creating a project that's like 2020 marketing. And within that project, you design your magazine and your cards and everything like that. And then you just keep that up to date. That's the easiest way to do it. And then also at any time you can save that as a design set. Yeah, so that next year you can basically just create a new template based off of last year.
Yeah, cool.
Right?
Cool.
So that's kind of fun.
So if you've already designed stuff in Photoshop or InDesign, can you import those into here?
Well, yes, and I mean you can import the JPEGs, but then you can't edit them.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's kind of like you kind of need to build it from scratch.
You kind of need to start over, which I know isn't the best, but it's 2020. It's time to move on.
Yeah. Well, I think for the long run though, like for the, for short-term pain for long-term gain, like short-term pain is like, well, I have to just redesign the whole damn thing again. But for the future, you can take out a page here and there. You can take out a page as a JPEG and put that on your social media if you want to talk about our stories, or you want to talk about what to wear. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So, and then let's go take a look at the matching cards. So we have a bunch of different cards. Obviously, let me do the horizontal one. So for example, I know gift certificates get used a lot in marketing. So I'm going to make a new gift certificate. I'm going to filter down to my marketing cards. And I know that I downloaded this family gift certificate.
Yeah.
Right, so that's just all made for you. And one of the things that makes Fundy Designer special is, for example, we have a block for 3 images, but if you want to, you can put in 4 images and it just kind of figures it out. Right. Yeah. So that's kind of the fun part. And I can take this one and like move it over there. Oops. Moved it over too far. There we go.
Yeah.
And so here's your gift certificate, studio, back of the card. It's kind of same thing.
It's pretty rad, man. Like seriously, like Susanna, my wife, she just did a webinar, walk the talk, and education exchange on the branding and design and the difference between a professional and templates and stuff.
Yeah.
This has got to be by far the best scenario for a template that you can get, because if you've ever worked with templates from Creative Market in Photoshop and how many layers and how many fonts and trying to move stuff around does your absolute nut in. So, sorry.
And what's fun is once the template, once you apply it, you can change anything you want, right? Yeah. So it's just kind of up to you. So for example, I want to increase that spacing there. We can change the font, all of that stuff. Let's do, I also did a card. Let's do a different card. So I did this card based on wall art, right? And so we created that wall art preview, right? We exported that preview. So let's go ahead and drop that preview back in here. And I know this is for family, so it's not quite gonna match. We can drop a couple in there.
That's cool.
And then, you know, we can just drop that guy in there. Oops, drop that over there, over there. And then we can drop this other one here.
And then,
right, and so then we can create that card all about wall art, you know, right. And we can export that for print or export it for social media or whatever we want.
So you can print, so that would take all of it high res. So you can print it to whatever size that you need to. Yeah. Does it come with like the bleed lines and crop lines and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so you can actually see right here. So that red or pink, I can toggle that on and off to kind of make it appear.
Yep.
Right, so that's your basic, usually it's about 1/4 inch on cards.
Yep, yep.
So that's your basic bleed lines and cut lines. So that's kind of some fun stuff there.
That's super cool.
And then the design library also has a bunch of songs for your slideshows.
Yeah, rad. And that's a big pain in the ass trying to find songs.
Yeah, and we, you know, one of the things that about photographers, these songs are made for in-person sales. They're not made to be like all exciting social media songs. Yeah. They're tooled specifically to help make money. So they're to activate emotion, all of that stuff. You know, a bunch of stock rooms in here. Under the wall art collections, you've got your collections, your coaching collections in there for everybody, like preloaded, ready to go.
Yeah.
So a lot of cool stuff there. So when we go to, let me open this wedding one back up. So when we create a slideshow, we can start with a title and we can add whatever we want and kind of move it around. So I can, you know, put my wall art options up to the top, and then I can say, I want to do my album next.
Do you know what some people are doing now, which I think is quite cool? I think that instead of doing like traditionally you did the music and you do all the images and then you go back and choose your favorites.
Yeah.
What a lot of people now are just doing the album design as the album design and the wall art.
Exactly.
And then going to go, okay, well, here's your other options you could choose from and going through images individually. So,
and that's what a lot of our best performers, I guess, a lot of our users that are making the most money in the US are pre-designing everything.
Yeah.
And so when the clients sit down, I'll just play a quick slideshow super fast just so you can see, right? Title. You should be able to hear the sound on your side.
Yeah. Yep.
Right. So if you're using Zoom, they have the, right? And then you start off with the wall art or the album, right? And we're starting with that design stuff instead of starting with the images.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. And you can change the title there as well.
Exactly, yeah. So all that, I just kind of loaded some stock stuff up here.
Yeah, that's right. I remember when I switched the Fundy wedding albums, and I was probably about 7 years ago now, 8 years ago. My design appointments, I used to use TDA, the old TDA. It was,
yeah.
My design appointments took probably 3 hours, 3 to 4 hours, because it took so long. When I made the switch to Fundy with the albums, and this is going back years ago, my wedding album consults went to about an hour and 15 minutes, hour and a half, because it's just so quick and easy, and it's just absolutely rad. Can I get you to show, now there's another thing that's been really popular is same day IPS.
Yeah.
And looking at the quickness. So if you've got someone in your studio and you just have to get ready, and you don't want to have to retouch everything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you see where I'm going
so
there?
let me...
Tell us your super awesome retouching.
Yeah.
You normally choose that family shoot.
Okay. Yeah, so here's a retouching example. Copy the project. Okay. I'm upgrading my upgraded project from my upgraded project. Got an old project, and we upgraded we upgrade the projects from, we came out with version 10 in January. So when it opens an old project, it has to upgrade it. So it's like a triple upgrade.
Yeah, that's very cool. And it's one of those things, like, this is where the differences are. This is the family you always use.
Yeah, it's super easy because unfortunately the photographer cross-lit the subjects. So it really accentuated her skin problems, which is bad in real life, but very good for a demo.
So just show us some of these features that you've got here, because I think it's really, really rad.
Yeah, so here's like a little zoom in so you can kind of see, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we license perfectly clear. And so I'm going to hit the button. Keep an eye on the brightness of her eyes, and then also her under eyes, the raccoon eyes that we call them sometimes.
It's a bit harsh, isn't it? No, I'm kidding. Yeah, it's cool.
Right, so that's one click before and after, and then we can even dial up that eye circle removal just a little bit more. Can you see that if I go down?
Yep.
And then back up. And we also added exposure correction. It's not an exposure slider. It just kind of corrects stuff. So if you're like a little bit underexposed or overexposed, like maybe your studio strobe didn't quite give a full power flash or whatever, it's an easy way to tweak that.
Yeah.
And
so
then
that's so cool.
So from a workflow standpoint, so let's say you've shot, brought in, you went out to a park or wherever, you shot 100 photos, went through real quick, culled down to 35 or 40, bring these in. So I've hit the retouch on that one, and then I'm just going to hit select all, and then I sync. And then that's it. Everything's retouched.
That's just...
And you might have to go in and, do the spot healing or flyaways for the final printed product, but you're 90% of the way there for that in-person sales.
Yeah, cool. And what's the difference between intelligent retouch and clear skin and healthy glow and all that?
So those are all basically, they're presets that just do different levels of all of the functions. And so it really kind of depends on the people. So most of our customers that I've talked to prefer the intelligent retouch or the full coverage. Very similar. There's a teenager one that is really heavy on the skin bumps and acne and stuff. High fashion is like a commercial retouch where there are no pores left.
Can you go on that one just for shits and giggles?
Yeah, sure. High fashion, here we go. Also, did you see it kind of brightened everything up too?
Yeah. Can you create your own kind of custom for your studio?
You can't save those now, but it's pretty, usually you kind of get used to it. You click, this is the supermodel one, right? So you're like, oh, this is where I'm at, bring that down a little bit. And it's so fast and everybody's a little different, right? Especially with skin tone. So super, super Caucasian with somebody versus somebody that's tan or African-American have a little bit different. So usually click, adjust, batch, and done.
Yeah, cool. What other little sneaky squirrel things are there? You've already taught us so much little things.
I mean, I think we've went over the order builder, right? So you can build out your orders, which is super handy. Under the export menu, we added this, I believe this was about a year ago, being able to export your order in a format that your studio management software can read it. We just had a great webinar with Studio Ninja, and they showed how how that works. We support, I think, 7 or 8 of the different softwares.
Can you, after this, send me the webinar that you did with Studio Ninja?
Oh, sure. Yep.
I want to link that to this because we had a webinar with Chris only on
great.
Friday.
Yeah.
And we're talking about linking softwares.
Okay. Actually, you might. So they hosted it. So they'll have the original file. So you probably want to just contact them directly.
I'll contact Chris.
This is really fun too. Yep. This export studio worksheet. I'm going to save that. So this exports a little text file. And the magic of this text file is it's basically a summary just in a text format of everything that's been ordered.
Okay.
And for example, all the images in the album, I can copy this and I can paste it into the Lightroom search bar and it will find just those images from the shoot. So you can just tweak those raw files only.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Right? And then re-export, overwrite the original JPEGs, and then boom, you're ready to export. Obviously, hand these off to, maybe you have a person that works in your studio. So these giant acrylics, maybe you want to send them off to a retoucher. So it's an easy way to know which ones to send.
Talking about retouching, can you do an export from what's ordered right in front of you and pop it into a folder to go, this is their order form, this is what they've ordered. So if you go, if you just go,
So here's all of their, here's the summary of their order. And then for all of the pieces, you'll go back and export those pieces. So for example, here you can export the prints, the wall gallery and the album will go back to that module and export.
Can you show us the actual folder that it exports to? Because I think by memory, it divides it into folders and then you've got your fully your images that you just need to retouch and then you can send it to your lab. Oh,
so if you want to, you can export just your images for retouching. It'll basically take the original image. It'll just grab the original images and put them in a new folder for you.
Can you show us that?
Yeah, super easy. You hit the button.
We'll end on this one because this is really rad.
Folder, and then you're like, boop, and then it copies those. I don't know if I have these local. Oh, no, I do. So,
folder.
Right, so here's all those images.
Cool.
So now let's pretend that we have sent those off for retouching.
Yeah.
And then they came back. And so, then I have a new folder called retouched images, whatever. And then we just go from images, we go resync the images, point that to that new folder of the retouched images.
Yeah.
And then we're all synced up. And now when we export, it will use the retouched versions instead of the original ones.
Can you show us how to export?
Yeah, so all of your export options are under here. Export for print.
Yep.
It'll export the spreads. One thing that's really cool for the wall art, and maybe this is what you might, let's show of hands, who has accidentally flipped their order where they ordered the 30 by 20 as the 16 by 20 and the 16 by 20 as the 30 by 20?
Yeah, it's happened a few times.
Yeah, it's a fun, expensive mistake, right?
Yeah. I ordered a complete album of 10 images that should be 8 by 10s as 30 by 40s once.
Oh, nice. How'd that work out for you?
Yeah, I got this massive tube from my lab and I'm like, what have we printed? And then I opened up just the top, the kind of lid, and you can see all the paper. And I'm like, I don't even know what this is.
Those aren't 8 by 10s.
And let's just say we're not using that lab anymore. Because it's like, since whenever would we print 10, 30 by 40? Yes, we start.
So here's, I should have put these in a separate folder. But here you can see we've renamed the images to the actual size they're supposed to be printed at. And
the crop.
And they're all cropped, and then we do all the upsizing and downsizing for you so you don't have to worry about Photoshop.
Has that retouching come across as well? Or is it just the...
Yeah, so if you retouch the photo, then everything that's exported from Fundy Designer will use that retouched photo.
So using that software, that, what's it called?
The Perfectly Clear, yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. How easy is that?
It's like my favorite.
It's so cool. It's so cool. All right. Do you know what? We've got 2 other videos on the whole, what should you do in the IPS walkthrough and all that kind of stuff. If anyone needs those, just ask, come and find me. I think what I highlight today was the marketing part, where you can create all your marketing material in Fundy Designer Suite.
And one thing, so we've been blogging every week for like 8 years. So if you don't know how to do something, if you just Google Fundy how to, and whatever that thing is, most likely there's a blog post on it.
Yeah, it's very cool.
So,
very, very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, we're going to get into Q&A because there's a whole lot of people want to ask a whole lot of questions about this now.
Holy smokes, I didn't see the questions. I'm out. I'll see you later.
now, of course, a bit of a shitstorm. So just want to say,
he cursed.
Yeah, I did. Sorry. See, now I got distracted with what I was saying.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah. Thanks for coming on. I love chatting with you and learning Fundy. One thing that I love, and this is very similar to Studio Ninja, that you get to speak to the CEO, the head chief of the company who you're using the software with. It's not a chat box. It's not a random person in the Philippines. No offense to the Philippine, telemarketers and call centers.
Yeah, it's not some guy that has nothing to do with the software.
You can ask the question. And the difference between, and what I love about Fundy and Studio Ninja is that they're constantly doing updates. It's not just an update every year of one small tweak. It's like constant things making it better and better. And also too, if you ever come to Vegas or SWPP, they do throw a wicked party. So anyway, I'm going to ones that police closed down, but let's not talk about that. Let's go into Q&A.
Yeah.
And we'll see you soon.